Baseball's back. The Astros have just concluded their first series of the 2026 season. Welcome back to your 2026 version of Astros Network. I am Hunter. I am your host of this season's episodes. Astros Network is your number one Astros series recap. If you missed a series, come to Astros Network. I'll have every series recapped for you only a day or two after it happens. Now, I don't know why you'd want to miss the first recap of or watch the first series of the 2026 season. The Astros are already back in midseason form. We played the Angels to start the series. We went 2-2, split the series. Now, the season did not get off on the foot of how we would want it to. We lost game 1, 3-0. Hunter Brown started, had an okay day, struck out 9 through 4 2/3. He looked good, was just giving up some unfortunate hits. I feel like if your starter goes 4 2/3, you should be able to at least have some sort of relief, bullpen relief for them, and the Astros just couldn't do it. We played at 0 across the whole game. Mike Trout hit a home run, and I believe there was a Noah Schanuel home run as well in the 9th. So you can't win games if you don't score runs. That's your first problem. The pitching was not that bad, but the hitting was worse. Loperfido had 2 hits. Christian Walker had 1 hit. No Astros runner got to third base in the first game. Walker hit a double, Loperfido and Walker each hit a double, and Loperfido did have a single as well. So the left fielder that we traded for, only a month or two before the season started, had the only hits, or 2 out of the 3 of the only hits to start game 1. So not the start you wanted to see to the series. Correa didn't play. Pena started. Jordan also did have a home run taken away from him. If you watched the game, you'd see Jordan hit a tank up, and it hit the rafters, the awning of Minute Maid Park, but for some reason they thought a nice March day wasn't the best day to have the roof open, so the roof was closed, and then from there the ball hit the awning, landed in foul territory. But if you watch the trajectory and how it's supposed to go, it was going to be a home run. The grounds rules are weird in Minute Maid Park. It's not like the Trop in Tampa Bay where they have certain rules for each awning it hits, and it was ruled a foul ball. So that kind of bad luck to start, I believe that was in like the second inning. It was just kind of how the game went for the Astros, and played at 0, lost the first game 3-0. The next game, game 2, really even worse. Mike Burrows got his first start on the season. Burrows went 5 2/3, allowing 9 hits, 5 earned runs, struck out 6, and allowed 2 home runs. So not the start you'd want to see from your number 2 guy who was supposed to come in here and be basically Framber Valdez, your number 2 guy who was last year a former ace. Now, nobody thought Mike Burrows was going to come in here and be almost an all-star candidate or a Cy Young candidate that what Framber used to be, but you still wanted to see some excitement out of Burrows. He was an exciting guy coming in here. We traded 2 prospects for over the offseason from the Pirates, and you wanted to come in here and see something out of him. Now, again, he did allow 5 earned runs, did kind of get shooken up. I don't know if anybody watched this game because it was on Apple TV, and I don't know anybody besides the diehard fans that actually will take the time out of their day to go watch it on Apple TV, but this game was on Apple TV, and again, the Astros got outscored 6-2, and we got out hit 8-11. So we did play some hits, but nothing came of it. Bryce Matthews was a big name in this game because this was his first start in the major leagues at center field. I guess it's more of a experiment here early on from Joe Espada to see who can play the outfield, because as you know, the whole offseason it was, we're going to trade Paredes. We're going to trade Paredes for a big left-handed bat. We had works for Jarren Duran and Willie Abreu, both from the Red Sox, but neither one of those trades went through, and instead we are swapping out Loperfido, Myers, Matthews, Cole and DeZinzo when they come up from the minor leagues, if they can get a hold of a better bat than they had from spring training. Right now it's just a carousel in our outfield. Pena didn't start game 1. He started game 2, went 2 for 5. So he'll kind of be a slow addition to the lineup, not anything hot starting out of the lineup. You don't want to. He didn't play game 1 because Soriano pitched, and he was a type of pitcher who's going to pitch you up and in. And obviously, with Pena having his hand problem, you didn't want him taking something off the hand and re-injuring his finger, which he had broken during a exhibition game whenever he played for Puerto Rico in the WBC. Now, again, everybody else didn't really do much. We had 8 collective hits. Paredes 0 for 4, Altuve 1 for 3, Correa 2 for 4, Cam Smith 0 for 4, Walker 0 for 3, Pena 1 for 4, Bryce Matthews 1 for 3. These numbers aren't going to get it done. Like, and with Mike Burrows having a rough start, that's just not how things were going to go. Okert and Weiss came in and didn't allow a run. Weiss allowed one run at the end of the game, but, the bullpen can only do so much if the bats are not coming alive. Now, it finally took till Game 3 for the Astros bats to come alive. The Astros won Game 3, their first one of the season, 9-11. And even this was one whirlwind of a game, right? The Astros, at one point, were down 6-0. They plated 3 in the bottom of the fifth to come back, and then they plated 8 in the 6th. I don't believe there was any home runs scored from the Astros from this game. I believe it was just a bunch of small ball. Paredes had a double. Correa singled in one. A wild pitch scored one. Another Correa single. Walker singled. Yiner singled, and Jake Myers double. So 0 home runs for the Astros in Game 3, and they ended up plating 11 runs, 8 in one inning to get their monster kind of game going. And that's what you like to see. You're not always going to have the power. You're not always going to have the big at-bats. It's more about passing the bat to the next guy. And for the Astros, who are over swingers, they're going to swing at the first pitch. They're going to swing way too heavily. It's good to see, a bunch of runs being plated at a time when it's cool to hit the home runs. Walker, it's good to see him finally get going. 2 for 4. He had a big game. Javier started this one, went 4 2/3, allowed 4 hits, 6 earned runs, 1 strikeout. So, again, 3 games in a row where your starter just did not give you the game that they wanted. Again, Hunter Brown was not that bad in Game 1, just couldn't go as far as he wanted to. That pitch count was getting really up there. Obviously, Burrow's getting shelled and Javier getting shelled are not what you want to see if you're an Astros fan. But, with Paredes having 2 RBIs in this one, Correa had 2, Walker had 1, Diaz had 2, Myers had 2. This is a team that's come together. And watching that game in Game 3, it made me excited for Astros baseball this year. This is the team that I remember only a few years ago whenever we weren't chasing the Mariners for first place in the American League West, or we weren't getting knocked out by the Tigers in the first round of the playoffs. This was the remnants of that team. And obviously, people like Loper Fido and Bryce Matthews and Paredes weren't here only 2 seasons ago. Last season was all of those guys' first season. Although Perfito wasn't here last year, but it's cool to see the Astros come together. Now, I don't like the fact that 9 runs were plated, especially 6 off the starter. Kai Wang Tang came in, Brian Keane came in, both allowed 0, and then Brian Abreu came in the 9th and allowed a 3-run home run to Noah Shanuel, who homered against us again. Now, the thing with Abreu is he's a closer right now because Hader's still out. Abreu is also on a contract year. There should be no reason why Brian Abreu, who's been electric as a setup man, is coming in and can't clutch. Obviously, if you have closer genes, games that are not saving situations, the closer can't really come in, and it doesn't have that same vibe, the same intensity that most closers thrive off of, such as Josh Hader. Now, if Brian Abreu is going to go in to a contract here and try to get a big bag elsewhere and not as a setup man where he is in Houston and try to get a closing role, he can't do this. You can't be a closer and come in on a non-save situation and allow 3 runs back to back. And even then, in Game 4, we ended up winning again. The Astros split the series, like I said earlier. It was 7-9 in Game 2. Played it 4 in the second. Great little small ball. Again, no home runs in this one. The only home run of the whole series came in Game 2. Jordan did his first home run of the season. And again, the Astros' only home run of the season thus far. The Astros played it 4 on a Christian Vasquez 2-run double with the bases loaded. So it's cool to see Vasquez coming in, the former Astro as well, when Yiner Diaz needs a day off. It's cool to see our backup catcher can come in and kind of excel where he needs to. Now, the Astros were up by 4 in the bottom half of the second, and in the top half of the third, the Angels played it 4 off of Imai, who made his first Major League debut on Sunday's game against the Angels. Tatsuya Imai made a 2 2/3 innings debut. He allowed 3 hits, 4 earned runs, allowed 4 walks, 4 strikeouts, ended the game with a 13.5 ERA. So that is a little bit up there. And you have to remember, it's his first start in the major leagues. It's his first start in anything that is unlike the NPB where he came from. Now, we've seen his stuff in Japan. It's absolutely nasty. Okay, you have to give him a little bit of time to come in and kind of thrive in the MLB. He got shelled in his first, maybe not shelled, but not as good as he would wanted to. He's got his first strikeout against Mike Trout, so that's kind of cool for a guy who is coming in and striking out one of the best, if not the best, skilled hitter of all time in Mike Trout. But unfortunately, it was a bullpen game from there. Rodri Munoz came in, Roa, Okert, Blue Ball, Brian King, and Brian Abreu all came in. Again, where I was going with this kind of hopping into Game 4 was Abreu came in, pitched one out, and allowed a run in the process. So it's not great to see Brian Abreu get put in these high leverage situations and can't do anything with it. This game on Sunday was a 7-9 total score in the ninth inning, and we can't have Brian Abreu coming in when we have a 3-run lead allowing more runs. The Astros played at 3 in the eighth to kind of give them some more run support. But again, you can't come in here in tight situations and have your setup man who's replacing Josh Hader for the time being until he's back constantly giving up runs. Now, Christian Walker is a big name for this series because some people hated Walker coming in to this year. Some people liked him. You know, he had a really bad down year last year in his first season over here from Arizona, but I know a lot of people on the inside of the Astros walls are saying that it's going to be a bounce back year for Christian Walker, and if we're paying our first baseman $20 million a year, I want to see it. Okay, he had 2 more RBIs on Sunday. He went 1 for 3 with 2 RBIs. I believe it was a double in the 5th inning. Paredes also doubled in one. Altuve doubled in one. So it's good to see these guys come in alive. You know, the whole lineup between Christian Vasquez coming in with the bases loaded, getting 2 runs in. Jordan singled in one. Paredes singled in one. Okay, this is what you wanted to see out of your first series if you're the Astros. You don't love the fact that you dropped Game 1 0-3 with Hunter Brown on the bump to the Angels, who are not very good, especially with this heavy right-handed hitting lineup in a game, in a series where the only left-handed hitter that they were afraid of was Jordan. It's not good to see that, considering, you know, your whole division is filled with right-handed pitchers who are going to come in and approach this left-handed lacking batting lineup and take over from there. You know, the only big lefty bat that the Astros have is Jordan. Outside of them, or outside of Jordan, it's Joey Loperfido and whichever prospect we call up here in a few weeks if one of the Zacks can get their stuff together and Sugarland. But that should do it for the recap for Series 1. I'm filming this on March 30th, so the Astros will play their second series of the season against the Red Sox at home. They will play Game 1 tonight. Lance McCullers should be on the bump. He'll get his first start of the season tonight, so we'll see how that one goes. But, yeah, thank you for listening to your number one home for quick Astros recaps. If you liked this more, personal format as opposed to my videos last year, give it a like, share the videos, and, yeah, I will see you after we hopefully top the Red Sox. Thank you.